Again. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we should be live then.
I am alive.
Well,
I'm alive. I'm
sort
alive.
of.
Oh. I'm
Sorry.
green again. No!
I still can't
No!
see it yet.
Why? Why? I don't want this.
See, I went back and color graded your second camera. That way you could not escape.
I didn't ask for this.
Do you not see it, Geek?
I see it. No, it was because I was waiting for an ad and it was annoying.
Would you like to see the rest of us color graded to be green?
No.
Too late.
No one should be green
There it
unless
is.
they're Shrek.
Oh wow.
There's a whole song about how it's not easy being green.
Geek's
It's
a
not.
vampire like 𝐓𝐿𝐴𝐥𝐿𝐴.
Oh no.
I'm a vampire?
Yeah. It means like you don't change colors with everyone else.
Oh, I thought it was because I was pale. I had a student tell me that last year. She had this really pretty dark skin, and she looks at me. She's 4, and she goes, I almost said my actual name. Miss Teacher, you're as white as the wall. And I was like, thank you. I am.
Oh.
But what's funny is
Yeah.
the wall is a really, really light pink. And I was like, actually, that's even more accurate because I have eczema.
Yeah, Daniel.
Oof.
Daniel definitely.
One time.
Wait, why am I
I
not
was
green? Like,
told-
I'm half green. Anyway, sorry.
Told once by an Irish person, like the most pure-blooded ginger Irish person I ever met, that I have an olive skin tone. And I was like, you'd have to be the most pale ginger Irish person to think that I have an olive skin tone.
Fun fact, the first week when I was born and my mom brought me home from the hospital, what have you, I had olive skin, dark hair.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Right.
legitimately. My mom thought that I had gotten swapped. She was like, this
Oh,
can't be my
no.
child. And then they were like, don't worry about it, she'll pale out. And I did. They were like,
Pale.
there's the wispy hair, there's the light hair, and she's pale.
She'll pale out.
They were like, don't worry. Sometimes they change colors in the
Yeah.
first few weeks. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right,
Mm. Sometimes babies are just real pink or different colors. It happens.
They're
Babies,
chameleons.
man, they're kind of like slimy potatoes. So
Okay, but one of my best friends, she sent me a picture the day her baby was born, and I thought, okay, maybe she gave birth earlier than I thought. I thought she said she went to labor today. I'm so confused. And I was like, how old is she in this picture? She was like, 3 hours. And I was like, that is the prettiest baby I've ever seen. I'm like,
That's
are you sure?
surprising.
Like, she should look ugly right now. She was like, I know, she really should look ugly, but she doesn't. She was like, I thought I was biased. I was like, no.
yeah, that is surprising because usually babies are kind of wrinkly and slimy for a while, and then
Shaping. They just went through a bunch of
yeah, exactly. No, it's not their fault. They just went through the most traumatic experience of their existence up until that.
Right?
But then they cued out a little bit after a bit. So
The chubbier, the better.
yes, definitely. So,
All
Except
right.
my brother Eric.
oh,
So the way so the way the podcast is going to go today is in the news topics. I have one actual news report, but it is just news about a tweet that was a rumor. So I just gathered the rest of the Zelda related stuff that she posted. And then after that, we'll have Triforce trivia. And sadly, for everyone watching, when we have the Triforce trivia, you can all play along with us, but only 10 people can actually join in. So it'll be us 3 and then 7 people from the audience, and we'll give the code for you to join in. And we have 10 questions from some of our friends at different websites or YouTube channels that all submitted questions, so it should be fun. And then we will end with the Hylian, wrong name, the Zelda mailbag. That's it.
the
Yes.
mailbag.
All right.
Mailbag.
I'm gonna go ahead and just not make you green. There we go.
Phew! Finally.
All right.
Oh dear.
Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast episode 137. Sadly, 𝐓𝐻𝐿ima could not be here with us today. She was kidnapped by some ogres or something like that. But we do have Daniel.
Hi. I'm here.
and the Geek Apprentice.
Hello, ich bin hier.
So before we get started with the Zelda rumor news, a quick thank you to the Patreon supporters. There's Zane, Fran, Wiggly Wiggle, Nodnarb, David, SuperNX64, Gus, Jesse, Shadow to Us, Lovable Christy, Natsu, BKRS7, Justin, Monica, Larulian Sheep. I messaged this person and specifically asked them how to pronounce their name, and I still forgot.
Oh no.
Endromai. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Check the message.
Rusty, Mr. Monoclad Metroid, which I'm starting to think is just Daniel in disguise.
It's not.
Zoe M, Candy, Ashton, Jen, Blargnar, Chad, SoberRX, and Henry. So thank you all for being a Patreon supporter. And if you have any questions that you would like us to answer, then at the very end, after the Triforce trivia, we will be doing the Zelda mailbag. So you can submit your questions for that. But let's get started with the first piece of news.
But Jesse.
Yeah, what's up?
Before you get into the news, there was a super chat. Did you see it?
I did not. No.
It's what I was giggling about this whole time,
Okay,
like a very mature person. Maybe you should read that one, Jesse.
What?
Decide if you want to read it.
It doesn't say anything on mine. It just says my pants for $1.
That is correct.
Yes.
The username is 2 initials and my pants.
Oh, okay.
First name, initial I, second initial P. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's their whole shtick. No question. Thank you for the $1. So, Jesse, the news.
Yeah. Okay. So there is technically there's not really any Zelda news this week, and last week we covered a small news, not really news story, but we covered something that was a rumor, and there was a lot of people talking about it, but I didn't really read through the whole thing. So then afterwards I was like, we shouldn't have even covered this. But with this person, like, it seems like 99% of the stuff that they've mentioned has come true. And then there's like a whole thread on Twitter that you can go and watch or look at of her. But I don't even know if it's a her. Could be an alien. I don't know. But Samus Hunter on Twitter, when asked about Zelda stuff, they put out a bunch of tweets covering a bunch of different things with the Nintendo Direct that's rumored and everything. But basically they said, don't expect major announcements for the series. Information about the sequel to Breath of the Wild is held with extreme confidence, but I personally doubt in its reveal it is more suitable for the Game Awards. It is possible some information about the second DLC of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. There is a second tweet. Nintendo prefers a diluted communication on at least 3 main presentations, alternating high-budget productions with lower-cost titles to ensure a monthly Nintendo title and presenting titles coming out within a year or so from their announcement. Unless delayed, expect Zelda. And the article that I linked to basically just gives an editorial about the first tweet. But yeah, so if the rumored Nintendo Direct coming, I was about to say next month, but it's this month, September.
This month.
Yeah, so if it comes this month, I had very, very low expectations of anything Zelda anyways, so this kind of just helps me believe that. But I do think something Zelda would be coming at the Game Awards, which is, I think we mentioned that last week or on the podcast before that.
Yeah,
But,
I think so. One of those weeks. You did say it.
yeah, and another interesting thing is, well, it's not really interesting, but I've seen a lot of people talking about how they believe, and there's no truth or anything behind this, but for some reason it's been all doom and gloom, because I've seen a bunch of people thinking that Breath of the Wild 2 would be delayed out of next year to the year after that. And then I think if it's like coming out that late, then it's just like likely it would be not even on the Switch, but whatever Nintendo's next console is, or another dual release. But anyways, not really talking about that, but what do you guys think about Age of Calamity or something Zelda related coming for either the Nintendo Direct or the Game Awards?
I think Age of Calamity is almost like a surefire thing, because it's the second DLC pass is or DLC wave 2 is supposed to come out in November. So when actually is the Game Awards? Is it in November or December then?
It's usually in December. The Game
Yeah,
Awards.
I thought it was December.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So it'd be too late for anything Age of Calamity in the Game Awards. So they'd want to show it before then. So if they do a September Direct, just makes the most sense to show Age of Calamity stuff there. I've been saying pretty much since the start of the year as well. I'm going to say this every week on this podcast. I've been saying since the start of the year as well that I think we're going to see some Zelda stuff in September as well. Not necessarily like a new game announcement, but I think it's entirely possible to see another trailer, or and definitely thinking we're going to see Age of Calamity stuff this month. So that's all. Also Metroid, because it's coming out in less than a month, so we're for sure gonna see some more Metroid. Almost certainly.
I thought I seen Nintendo post something that was like 1 day or something. Maybe it was 1 month.
1 month.
Okay.
It was the 1 month thing, but they've been pretty consistent with the trailers, with some really dicey trailers. Not dicey.
They did that
like bad, but
when
like
Age of Calamity was coming out. They would put out a bunch of 10-second trailers every day or so. Or maybe every week. I don't know. Geek, what are your thoughts? What are you expecting?
I mean, Age of Calamity is the most logical thing. I also wouldn't expect anything super big. Not in a September Direct. If memory serves, fall Directs usually aren't huge things, unless I am totally forgetting something. It's usually E3 timeframe, or sometimes that early spring, early new year, that they will do really cool stuff. I would love it if there was more stuff. If I had a guess of what I really would love from a September Direct, since it usually isn't a big thing, Animal Crossing DLC. I'm gonna take that to my grave, I'm sure, which is I want some. That game needs a massive update, as much as I love it. But yeah, as far as Zelda's concerned, I'm kind of in the same boat. Although last year I was really on the fence when it came to the Game Awards, which every time I see someone put TGA referring to the Game Awards in chat, I get so confused because I forget. Because my initials are TGA. So it throws me off. I'm like, what? Anyway, but last year I was so on the fence. I thought one day I'd be 100% absolutely we're going to get stuff about the sequel to Breath of the Wild. And the next day I'd be like, absolutely not. And I'm glad I didn't take off work to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's a slight tangent of, I'm just not a huge fan of the Game Awards, but I'm not interested in a diverse amount of games, so it doesn't appeal to me. To other people, it's great, but beating a dead horse, same thing.
So
no, the Game Awards last year were kind of meh. So you didn't
more like a
very meh
party than about games.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
So I looked it up, and aside from like 2, maybe 3 years, every September since Nintendo's Directs began, they've had a big Direct.
Okay.
And
well, last year they had the big Mario one.
That's
they announced
true.
a lot of good Mario stuff. So I know a lot of people are hoping it'll be like a big Zelda Direct, but I don't think it'll be so solely focused on just Zelda.
I think Nintendo could have some cool announcements if they wanted to do a Zelda-focused direct. But if you take everything that they've announced for Zelda this year, even though a lot of people don't think it was like a big Zelda 35th anniversary, they've announced or released a bunch of stuff that seems like that's what they were aiming for, but something weird happened. Maybe if they did have a Zelda Direct or something like that planned, the only thing I could think of is if they thought Breath of the Wild 2 was going to be coming out this year, but once it started to get delayed or looking like it would be another year or releasing the next year, maybe they would wanted to hold off on a bunch of stuff to have the direct coincide with Breath of the Wild 2. Because if that's not what happened, then it's a crazy coincidence that they had like the same little Game & Watch player that they had for Mario. They had Skyward Sword come out, the Age of Calamity, well, that was early last year, but then all the DLC and stuff, and then yeah, it's just the first 4 figures champion statues and some other stuff. What was it? The Loftwing amiibo, the Joy-Cons. Maybe other stuff, I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So I guess that's all for the news, unless anyone has anything else to mention.
Not much. I mean, Samus Hunter, who is the leaker in this article, has a really good track record. Nobody's perfect. Everyone, like, we say she. We're not sure if it's what the gender of this person is, because they've kept, for obvious reasons, their identity secret. But they have a pretty good track record about getting a lot of stuff right, including like exactly what DLC would be for Age of Calamity.
Yeah.
And then they completely,
yeah,
exactly, like 100% called it. As well as lots of other stuff.
Which the cool thing about that is like no one would have even been able to guess that if they were just going off of armor from Breath of the Wild or other Zelda games, because it was like the beta version of the ancient armor or whatever. The prototype. That's it. Yeah.
It was like very specific. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully, I don't know. Whenever Samus Hunter like posts something that's sort of contrary to what I think is going to happen, makes me second guess myself, because they're saying that probably don't hold out for too many big Zelda announcements or anything. But I've been thinking that that's when we're going to see lots of Zelda stuff. So it's kind of casting doubt on my thoughts. So.
There was another tweet from her, but I couldn't find it. But it was basically saying that she thinks that Wind Waker or Twilight Princess or whatever are currently being worked on, which
that would be great.
Could be. There's tons of different people that could be working on it, but like Wind Waker, I made a video about it a couple of weeks ago, I guess, talking about if different companies were making the various Zelda remakes or remasters, how long would it actually take them to do it? And the original Wind Waker HD took less than 6 months to develop for the Wii U. And if that was changing the lighting system, the HD textures, cutting down on the Triforce quests and everything, then, and also adding in like the quick sell or whatever and mapping all the stuff to the touchscreen, like if they could do all of that in 6 months, then I imagine it wouldn't take 2 or 3 months to just simply port it from the Wii U to the Switch.
It wouldn't take much work at all. And I've seen some people, I remember I was talking about this, I think on a stream or something, and someone was like, oh, well then what did they do about the second screen stuff? And I'm like, hello, these games were originally designed for GameCube, which didn't have a second screen. That's not an issue at all. Like like all the second screen stuff is just pause menus,
It's
basically.
what they did with Breath of the Wild. They gave all the promise of the second screen, and then they're like, nope, we want it to be equal across all platforms. It's like, but it's still not equal. Like Switch looks better, but
it'd be very different from like this didn't occur to me till recently because I'm like, I would love to be able to play the DS Zelda games. I've always wanted to try them, but I was like, oh wait, how would those work? Unless there's a way I haven't thought of, because those are
they could still
different.
map like the stylus controls to buttons, I think, and it works.
I would hope
like
so.
all of Link's actions are translatable to another control like because they're all actions he does in other Zelda games using buttons, right? So
I may or may not have a slightly playable version of one of the DS games with traditional controls.
Is this the thing that Melon has been working on?
Well, I don't know if he's been working on it. He said he was just messing around with it. But I think the last time he was messing around with something, he made Ocarina of Time online multiplayer. So who knows? But yeah.
But another thing, Pikmin 3 on Switch is a good example. That game on the Wii U,
Pikmin
was very. It had but on the Wii U, Pikmin 3 had a lot of gamepad functions, and translating it to Switch, they put a mini map on the screen and made everything else pause menus, basically, and it works better than having dual screen, in my opinion. So yeah, I everything is translatable, I think, from dual screen over to traditional single screen button play. If they can do button controls with Skyward Sword, pretty much nothing is off the table for me. So yeah.
If for no other reason, I just want at least Spirit Tracks because I want to hear all the music.
Yes.
Oh, especially
that's literally my only reason.
Especially hearing all the music on like a TV or like on good speakers and not on the DS speakers, because they don't do it justice.
I mean, the amount of time Spirit Track music, usually 2 specific themes from Spirit Tracks, have made Zelda top 10 lists of music for me when I haven't even played those games. That's got to tell you something.
It's a good soundtrack, but I would hope if they did something with those games that they would update a lot more, especially with the music.
Those graphics are a little weird.
In Wind Waker HD, not all of the music tracks, but a great deal of them got reorchestrated, like got re-recorded with orchestra.
In Wind Waker?
And in Wind Waker HD, they redid a bunch of the music with orchestra. So if you compare, one of my favorite examples is the boss battle for Goma, the first boss. Just hear the GameCube original MIDI version, and then you pull up the Wind Waker HD version, and this big brass orchestra just like pulls in, and it's amazing. It sounds so good. And not all of the songs got that treatment. Like Windfall Island did, but Dragon Roost Island didn't, for example. But I guess the ones that just maybe had suffered the most in MIDI format needed it, you know? But yeah, it's most of the bulk of like the work on those on Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, which is how we got here, is already done, right? So they wouldn't need to do very much to port them over. Do I think it's going to happen this year? No, not this year. But
it'd be nice, but
it would be nice. Especially because Twilight Princess, especially, like, we all want Wind Waker, but a Twilight Princess would sell much better.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned Pikmin 3.
Because I love that game.
So the video that I uploaded earlier today talking about more cut content and concept art from Twilight Princess. Did you see... Wait, Geek, did you see the original designs for the Oku? I don't know how to pronounce it.
I think I did once, and I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
It's like big...
They got really weirder.
Yeah.
Anyways, one of the interviews that I came across when talking about it, because I was trying to look up how many times or when specifically Twilight Princess was delayed, because there's an interview that I read a long time ago talking about how, and I found this interview where Aonuma said that he wanted you to begin the game as Wolf Link and have it be like basically putting the player in the mindset of Wolf Link, to where it's like, how did you get here? Why are you a wolf? What's going on? But Miyamoto was like, no, nobody wants to do that. Just start with Link.
We're gonna herd goats instead.
And then
Yeah.
Miyamoto said.
like Kakariko Village in that game is the Kakariko, well, you know, the normal Kakariko Village, but then there's also the old Kakariko Village, which to me doesn't really make too much sense, because you have, like, in Ocarina of Time, Impa tells you that Kakariko Village, the one next to Death Mountain, is the one that the Sheikahs created or whatever. But then in Twilight Princess, it's the old Kakariko Village that was the first or whatever. But the reason that they had two different Kakariko villages is because they had to think of a way where Aonuma wanted a way, he wanted to put something in the game that forced the players to do the shooting archery thing, like the shootout thing.
Link's crossbow training prototype.
Yeah, like they thought it was so fun that at first it was just an optional mini game, and then they're like, no, what if people play through the game and they don't know that it's there? We have to force them to play it. So they ended up creating the entirely different Kakariko Village just to force people to do that. But anyways, the interview that I was trying to talk about was you always read about how towards the end of development, like in the last 6 months or something, which some of the stuff that I just said were examples of switching stuff out at the very end of development, and sometimes it's rushed and sometimes it's delayed, but they were asking Miyamoto about he's always quoted as upending the tea table, and they asked him when the last time that he did that was, and he mentioned it was for Pikmin, whenever they did the Pikmin 3 announcement, and they had recorded the video for the reveal of Pikmin where he's on the screen or whatever. And then after he watched it back, he went to the camera people and was like, is it possible to have a bunch of little tiny Pikmin all over me?
Oh my gosh.
So then they had to go in and re-record it and then get like a graphic artist or whatever to put a bunch of Pikmin all over him. So
wow.
Anyways,
that's funny.
With
what a guy.
Going back to Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, though, since this is sort of a Zelda topic we're on, I don't think they're coming this year. I think they would come like at the latest, like 3 months before Breath of the Wild 2. I don't think they're going to be a collection. Like I've seen a bunch of YouTube videos, people making that still think that there's going to be this big Zelda collection, and it's like, I don't know about that. But just based on some of the emails and stuff, which you've seen, Daniel, that ended up, like, the thing in April was the first four figures champion statue,
right?
And then like just a bunch of the stuff ended up turning out to be fairly true. So because of that, I still am putting my hopes that Ocarina, that remake, will be coming before the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. And the crazy thing is, a lot of people think, well, Nintendo's hard at work on Breath of the Wild 2. Why would they pause that to work on these other games?
Outsourcing, that's...
And it's like, you can have a small team of like 10 people, not even Nintendo, like Tantalus or whoever. And if they had like the one team working on all four of those remasters for Switch, like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker, they could finish all of that in like 6 to 8 months probably, to where one would just take anywhere from a month to 3 months, depending on how many changes they'd want to make. Or in Majora's Mask's case, I think everyone would want changes back to the original. But yeah, it's like it isn't the Breath of the Wild 2 team, which I think the Wind Waker situation confused a lot of people.
That was like, yeah, that was an anomaly though. That wasn't
and
usually what
they ended up saying that developing that ended up helping them speed up development on Zelda Wii U or Breath of the Wild, because it was easier for them to learn by using a game that they already knew instead of learning from the ground up, which to me is insane, because if Breath of the Wild's development was sped up by Wind Waker, how long would it have been if they were learning from the ground up?
Right.
Yeah, so that's basically my thoughts. And everyone in the chat, obviously, I'd love to hear all of your thoughts as well. Just Cliff, I see in there. Hi. Yeah, was there anything else? Yeah, basically it's not. It likely wouldn't even be Nintendo. It would be Tantalus or Grezzo, or even like a 2% chance Monolith Soft could be doing something other than Breath of the Wild 2 as well. But like, these are games that they could have made a year ago and just been holding off on for the right time to release, or it could be something that they start now and would be finished by the end of the month. So I think, I don't know, it's weird. Like, some people in the comments think that it would be like 2 years to develop. Like, if they started on Wind Waker HD right now, or Twilight Princess HD for Switch, it wouldn't be done until like 2023 or something. I'm like, no, it would be done before Christmas. But would they release it before Christmas? Who knows?
That's different.
But anyways, I think that's all that I have to say on all of that. I can't really think of anything else. But yeah, I'm still going with Ocarina of Time before any of the others. And if Nintendo does come out and talk about Ocarina during the Nintendo Direct, I want everyone to buy one banana.
just one? Only?
Well,
you're telling me to cut down on my banana?
You have to make sure that there's enough for everyone.
I see.
Like, it can't be the great toilet paper incident of 2020 again.
Oh my gosh.
Is the Zelda voice actress bad or good?
I was just writing back to that.
We have had her on the podcast before, so she's very, very good. If like Nintendo, Aonuma, Fujibayashi, or whoever, they told us that they were on a conference call when they were auditioning in the studio. So it wasn't just whoever at Nintendo was doing the English translation that picked the voice actors. Like, the people behind the series, Aonuma and the rest of them, actually had a huge choice in the matter. Anyways, are you guys ready for Triforce trivia?
I'm ready.
All right.
Yes.
Oh.
So,
how are we getting the game code?
Well, if Daniel would like to read out some comments from the live chat while I get this set up, then
sure. And then you can put it in our little Discord chat here.
Now, for this to work, I will be playing along, but
it seems like cheating to me.
Yeah.
But mine won't be counted. I'm just going to try to do it so that the questions and the choices or the answers are all on screen. For everyone listening, you can play along as well. Sadly, only 10 people can join the actual quiz, but you can put your answers in the live chat. And I think it gives like 5 to 10 seconds to read out the question, and then 20 seconds to pick the answer. Yeah. So I will post this. Yeah, do you see anything, Daniel, worth talking about?
In the chat here? Well, actually, Fran talked about in the chat, said, still would like themes and badges on Switch too. I think people have been saying this for a long while now, but it's also true. I was playing my 3DS and my Zelda theme and badges are cool. Want them on Switch. That's a good point. Because right now we still have Basic White and Basic Black are the Switch themes.
All right, if you go to the...
that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The Google Doc, there is the code.
Oh.
All right. Big.
I was gonna say it's huge.
Is it gonna let me just copy paste it, or am I gonna have to type it?
So you go to
Oh, I have to give myself a nickname.
Go to 𝐭𝐻𝐿.it and then yeah.
Ja,
do
I'm
I gotta
in.
give a nickname too?
I'm in.
I'm a hacker man. I'm in. Except I'm not a hacker man. I'm not even really.
Ask if I see my nickname on screen. I see it in the bottom left corner.
All right. Does it have my name in there?
Does it show it on your screen?
I did a practice thing earlier, and it gave me. Wait, someone just. Okay, I think I know what it is.
I didn't do something wrong. It's just purple. Says a few words, and then my name at the bottom with the number 0.
Ditto.
All right,
okay.
So
not your name.
Everyone in the chat, if you would like to join along, you will see. Where is it? A 7-digit code to type in. Go to 𝐭𝐻𝐿.it and wait for the screen to come up on the live stream.
Is Lon Lon milk 2% or skim?
I would imagine it's whole.
Probably whole milk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my guess.
It's pretty much straight from cow to bottle there, so it wouldn't be like pasteurized or anything. It's just nature.
All right.
Natural milk.
So the code is
Yep.
5718342. It's on the screen right now. We'll give it a little bit of time for some people to join.
But imagine milk's so good for you that you got like punched and like injured badly.
Oh.
And you just drink some milk and you're like,
right?
Wounds heal. Imagine a world like that.
It's insane.
Now, for the record, Daniel is the current champion.
Yeah.
Thank you for stating that for the record.
Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I missed
7, 8.
1 last time.
I think we have room for 2 more. There's 9.
See, mine doesn't show all the other people.
And
yeah,
there we go. We have
mine doesn't
10.
show anything.
It said 10 was the limit. I want to give it a second to see if any more. Nope. Oh, more people are coming. Okay, I was wrong. I am a liar, everyone. Confirmed.
You are a liar.
Your nose is getting longer by the
All
second.
right, it is
I'm getting greener.
10:14 on my
Getting
screen.
greener.
So by 10:16, we'll give it like 30 more seconds.
I guess it's normal for mine to just say my name and 0.
0. I guess that's our score so far. That's my guess. It
0
hasn't started.
to
We're all
hero.
0.
That's a song from Hercules.
I have the what is it? Before each trivia question, I have the name of the person who submitted it. Okay,
Oh, okay.
it's been 13 for about a minute, so I guess we're gonna go from there. Oh, no, there's another one.
Oop.
All right, we're going. Nope, 15. Okay. I think you can join 16. All right.
Wow. Is there even a limit?
5,
The is the
4,
limit?
3,
A limit does
2,
not exist.
1. I get to
Limits
1 and then
only
2
two.
people join. I don't want anyone to be left out, but at the same time, I want to hurry and start the fun.
All right.
That's
I think
true.
you can still join after we start. You won't get the points for the questions you missed, but you can still join, I think.
Okay.
Probably.
All right, so instead of Daniel versus 𝐓𝐻𝐿𝐵 like last time, you guys are up against 17
Up
other
against
people?
Lord and some girl and Toby and
All right, and we are starting.
various.
Kahoot at home. I think
Says get ready.
Triforce trivia.
Ready.
3,
Ooh.
2, 1. Quiz.
Well,
From
mine says
Patreon
I still
supporter
have
Natsu.
5
Breath of the
seconds.
Wild has 900 Korok seeds. What is the minimum amount you need to completely upgrade your inventory? 419, 556, 441, or 612?
Wait,
do I
I
just
don't
pick a
understand
shape?
what's looking. It's just showing colors.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too. Do each of those correspond to
Like
a
is
thing?
red A and blue is B. I lost
Yeah,
time.
now I lost time. I didn't know.
I don't understand.
I think.
I don't
I'm
understand what just
confused.
happened.
How is it? What
It
was
didn't
on
show
your
what the
screen?
answers were. It just
No.
showed shapes, like
Yeah.
squares with colors and shapes.
And there was no numbers in the shapes?
Numbers,
No.
there's no answers. It was just like different shapes, like a square and a triangle and a circle.
I think when it was counting down those 10 seconds, that's when it was expecting me to listen to the question, and I wasn't
Mhm.
listening. And I guess I'm assuming it goes A, B, C, D, but I don't know. To be fair, I did not know the answer to that question
It
anyway.
goes
But
triangle,
still,
diamond, circle, square on my side. Can you guys see what my screen looks like? If you go to the
no.
chat.
Oh, I can on the stream. It does show.
Yeah. So
It's like
did you guys not look like that?
no, it doesn't give us
No.
those
But that,
options.
well, I can't use that for reference because it'll be behind, but red, blue,
All right.
yellow, green.
I'm pretty
I-
sure it's
I can deal with
441
that.
though, if I'm being honest.
I literally have no idea, but according to the stream, 441 is correct. Red, blue,
So
yellow.
what
green.
does your screen look like now, Daniel? Is there a way to show?
Mine just says thumbs up.
It says,
Time's up.
time's up. That's exactly what Geeks looks like. It says I'm on the podium. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I guess other people lost too.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go to the next one. Tell me if it
All right.
refreshes for you guys.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we'll fail at Kahoot again. I wanted a perfect score, Jesse, just like last time. I've already failed.
All right.
All right. Question
Quiz
2.
2. This is from HMK. What cut champion tribe was originally planned for Breath of the Wild? Korok, Kokiri, Sheikah, or Minish?
I hope. I know what it is. I feel like I need to say it out loud in case I click the wrong thing.
2 of those are correct.
Are the answer up there for you guys?
No.
No, it's just the shape, so I hope I click the correct shape.
What?
I hope also.
I got it right!
But,
Is it really not showing it for you guys?
No, it just shows the shapes.
oh wait,
So
it's
we have
champion
to-
he specifies though, so it is only one of those. So good thing I picked the right one. It is
Yeah,
only
me
the
too.
shape that show, so maybe read out or the colors. So maybe read those out with the answers. Like
Well,
red.
I
Korok,
barely had any
blue,
time.
Kokiri.
Like, Jesse, like, for mine, it said you were still reading the question when my 20 seconds started to answer. So I wasn't. So I was, like, trying to go as fast as possible.
Okay, I haven't.
But I know it goes like this, left, right for each answer.
Hmm.
So
Okay, so
I don't know if that's helpful.
I know what I'm going to do. It was giving 20 seconds for each person.
Yeah, and for people on stream, it's not
give-
working because they don't hear the question by the time their 20 seconds are up.
Okay.
That's a good point.
They're like, wait, no, you're already on the next thing by the time we hear it, because they're not hearing it in real time like Daniel and I are.
Yeah. Yeah, questions will pop up on screen until after the 10 seconds are up. Yeah, so there's too short of a time.
Okay.
I don't know if you can change that or not.
I am, and we'll start over.
Okay. Good.
I had 827 points.
So, all of you got like none of the answers showed up for any of you, just the shapes.
Just
the shapes. So your answers correspond to a shape then.
Mm-hmm.
I just assumed it was going
see.
1, 2, 3, 4. And so I clicked based on when you said something. I was like, oh, if I know that's the answer,
Okay.
I clicked that shape.
Mm-hmm.
So that's weird, but if it does it again, a way to get around this is, since there is more of a delay now, or more of a time to answer the questions, then you can look at the YouTube screen to see where the answers are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I will read it from like top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
That's how I was taking it, so.
okay.
Okay. And also ungreen me while we're at it here and
Yes, sir.
and make it trending.
All right. I am exiting out of the game we were at.
Okay.
Let's put the
Do you need
pin
a new
back in.
pin? Or is it the same pin? Oh, looks like the same pin worked.
I think it takes you to that game.
Oh, you've disconnected. Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need a
Alright.
new pin.
So there's a
Does it
video
get-
one.
Let's try it.
Says it's
Challenge
trying
others
to
who play it
reconnect.
at their
Yeah, I think we need a new pin.
I'm getting it. Team versus team. I'm seeing if there's a setting to show minimized intro instruction, order of answers, randomized order of questions, friendly pick, lobby music. Show questions and answers on players' devices.
That
Yes.
sounds like what we want.
Automatically move through question. Rejoin. Okay, so I think this is it. It should be working for everyone. I apologize. And then now the pin is 6. Well, here, I'll post it for you guys to make sure you guys get in first.
Okay.
Fair enough.
There.
Sweet. Nickname.
Which is my nickname.
I'm in.
The amount of people in my stream will be like, what should I call you? And I'm like, geek. And they're like, but that's offensive. And I'm like,
All right.
but I said you to call me that.
It's not.
So
Geek isn't like a slur, you
Six.
know?
No, especially not anymore.
Yeah.
6 3 1 3 6 8 3, and it is fixed this time, so the answers will show up on your screen as well. It was a thing in the settings. I assumed wrongly that they would automatically have it to where it shows the answer for the people who are trying to guess the answer,
You
Yeah.
thought wrong.
and it gives you. We have 1 minute to answer the question this time, so altogether it'll be about 10 minutes. 10 questions, a minute each, and then everyone's
Sweet.
joining in a lot faster this time. Cool.
Sweet. Very, very good.
I'm
We kind of
ready.
know the first two answers already, though.
Do you though?
Yeah, I hope I remember what that
Pretty
answer to the first one is. I knew what the answer was to the second one.
All right.
Exactly.
for
The
the
second
first one,
one
I hope
threw
I
me
remember.
for
30
that
seconds
because
to join.
the second one threw me because it said champion/tribe, and I missed the champion part first, and I just thought tribe that was cut, and I was like, well, two.
That would be confusing.
But the champion part is what clarifies. The champion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Originally, he wanted to know
to-
the HMK wanted to know the item the champion also had, but
Ooh.
I know what it is though.
I think I know what it is too. And I don't even have the Creating a Champion book. I saw it in a GameStop the other day, and I was with someone, and he was like, "Do you want me to get it for you?" And I was like, "No," because it was like $40.
all right, 10.
If you have the chance to ever
9,
get the special edition
8,
one though, it lots of nice goodies.
7,
That's what I want. I want to
6,
get the really nice one.
5, 4.
But this one had a really pretty picture of Zelda on it.
3,
Why?
2. So Tubes is really missing out on all of this headache.
Maybe it's a good thing for her.
She might be watching going, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
Alright.
good.
Minimizing this again, putting it right there beside Geek underneath me. And yeah, I guess we
also
can go ahead and
cryptic-
start.
'm ready.
3, 2, 1, and we're starting. And you can start after we start as well.
Sweet.
So if anyone is late to the party, start. All right, Kahoot at home. Triforce
Great.
trivia. 3, 2, 1, quiz. From Natsu. Breath of the Wild has 900 Korok seeds. What is the minimum amount you need to completely upgrade your inventory? 419, 556, 441, 612. Are the answers showing up for everyone?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's actually
Way
correct.
better.
Great.
Doing everything that. Magnificent. And yeah, you can see it on the stream there too. That it shows the question.
And you get more points based on how quickly you answered, if I remember quickly. Correct.
Yeah, I think so. Like if you're the first, like if there's 20 people and you guess first, you get 20 if you're correct. If you guess third, it's like it goes down by the number, like Mario Kart races.
I'm tied with Geek.
And it says I'm 1 point behind some girl.
Some girl.
All right, so it does give 1 minute for everyone to answer, but if everyone answers before that 1 minute is over, then
At your points.
it goes on. Okay, next. Lord is in first with 992.
GG, Lord.
Step your game up, Daniel.
I
Rude.
thought I answered really fast.
Me too.
2 out of 10. From HMK. What cut champion / tribe was originally planned for Breath of the Wild? Korok, Kokiri, Sheikah, Minish.
Almost thought I hit the wrong one because I was trying to go so fast.
Also, Marshall in the chat said that he was asked before the game actually started. That might actually, the game probably did start, but this stream is always a little bit delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what it is, Marshall. So
Yeah.
no worries. Also, RC's asking who canonically is the person who fell in the toilet in Majora's Mask. They're their own character. They're not another character that fell in the toilet. They are the character is the person that fell in the toilet.
Also,
that's the whole character.
This has like an anti-cheat thing on it because by the
I'm on
time
the podium.
someone looks up the answer on Google,
because they'll lose points for being too slow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ah, good point.
Oh,
What is
you're
on the
first.
podium?
Good job.
That's who's first?
You're in first place.
Me?
Yeah.
Dang
Is
it.
that what on the
What
podium
am I?
means?
Geek is in third.
Who's in second?
Funny name, haha.
Who's on first? What's on second?
That's literally what I was just thinking of.
There's also a user named Burger Daddy, so you may have influenced
Yeah.
Burger Son, Burger Daddy.
Ferguson, Burger Daddy.
All right.
Daddy.
Question 3. From Amanda Van Heil of Zelda Universe. What is the name of the group of singing frogs in Ocarina of Time? The Fabulous 5 Froggish Tenors, the Singing Frogs, Don Garrow's Frog Choir, the 5 Froggy Falsettos.
I literally have no idea.
I know it's not one of them because it's a frog group from a different game.
Truth be told,
But I don't
it's
know.
not 3 of them.
It's no, but I know one of them for sure isn't right. But
Yeah, Amanda sent this back to me in like 2 seconds, and I was like, "Wow,
that's a
Like-
trivia question.
Jeez.
That's the most trivia question that I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Mhm. The fabulous
gosh,
5
I was
froggish
right.
spinners."
I totally guessed it, and I was right.
Based off of
Hate
that
you.
name, so based off of that real name, I came up with the 5 froggy falsettos. I thought it had a similar alliteration.
Oh, it's the alliteration.
Yeah, and then I threw in Don Gero as like a being sneaky, because some people might
that's
think of
one
the
I knew
frog
was Majora's Mask. So also
That's the one
Natsu
I
is Burger
put.
Daddy.
Daniel is in first. No one switched places.
Yeah, somehow I got that wrong and I'm still on the podium.
You got it wrong, but fast.
I got it wrong quickly.
Question 4. From our friend Stealth. This is a Nintendo question. What system had the first officially localized Fire Emblem game? Super Nintendo, GameCube, 3DS, Game Boy Advance.
Not a Zelda question, but
There are
but
2 Nintendo questions in this. 8 Zelda, 2 Nintendo.
Bro, I haven't the slightest clue. I don't know anything about Fire Emblem.
America got into Fire Emblem after Smash Bros. On N64, so maybe that is
no,
a hint.
Melee, not
Kind of.
N64.
I mean, I already answered.
Okay.
It wasn't.
I mean, I
It
did
was
put the SNES, so I knew that was too far back.
I actually had to Google this because he didn't give me the answer. And then Google didn't even know.
Oh.
Google said it was NES, and he was like, no, localized.
The first one
Yeah.
in Japan was NES, but localized was much later.
GBA.
I got it
It
right,
was
but I was dropped down to
GBA.
6th place.
Kept
After
Ferguson
Melee,
still in first. Funny name.
I'm the
haha.
trivia king.
Oh, wow.
I got it right, but I was dropped so
Kept
far. for
Bergerson
taking
has the
granted.
highest answer streak of 4. You're on fire, it says. Next question.
Burn the burger.
From Patreon supporter on I'm sorry. In Breath of the Wild, how many people in Gerudo Town know Link is a Vo? 5, 6, 7, 8.
I guessed just off the top of my head because I didn't want to lose points for actually taking the time to count. Which means I probably got it wrong.
I don't know if I got it wrong or not.
I think I got it wrong.
See, the Patreon supporters had really good questions.
These were good questions.
They are good questions.
So I was
Some of
trying to
them-
think. There's Riju and Bellaria. Barta can know.
I think that Goron that's
And the
there
other
can
is
just see
for-
right through you.
Wait, I was only counting Gerudo characters. I didn't even think of the Goron character. There's the secret
Well, it
shop
says-
owner.
Oh, it
There's
says
the
how
old
many
lady
people.
by the goddess statue.
Okay.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
wrong.
I was wrong.
How many
Ooh,
was it?
6.
It was 6. I said.
Oh,
I
you're
said
in
5
second
as well.
place.
I was
I've
like,
lost
6
my
seems
streak.
like too many.
Joseph Stewart
Not
is
too
in
many.
first place.
I'm
Good
in
job,
8th
Joseph.
place.
All right. Next question, number 6. From Patreon supporter Jin. How many dungeons are in Twilight Princess? 7, 8, 9, 10.
I know this one.
I was torn between 2. I know it's a lot.
I know this one because I had to. I had a point about dungeon numbers in a script I was writing.
Yeah.
So I had counted this out for all the 3D Zelda games, how many there were in one.
I bet you would never guess Majora's Mask.
Well,
No,
this is only
so-
counting full dungeons, not mini
Yeah,
dungeons.
so here's the thing. Is this full dungeons or is it
This would have to only count full
is
dungeons.
Ganon's Castle a dungeon?
Ganon's Castle is
Or
not in
Hyrule
Twilight.
Castle?
No,
Hyrule
yeah, there is
whatever the
nothing.
Hyrule
castle.
Castle counts as a dungeon because you get all the trappings like a map, boss key.
Oh, I wasn't counting that crap.
But
A little hint.
There was
There's
not enough-
another
That makes
Twilight
sense, though.
Princess question.
I'm still in
later.
8th
it says I was
somehow.
wrong. Hold on, it says I was wrong. What was the right answer?
The right answer was 10, apparently.
What?
That cannot be right. There are
That can't
9
be right.
dungeons, 9 full dungeons, because if you don't count mini dungeons like Cave of Ordeals,
Maybe they were counting Cave of Ordeals.
if they're counting Cave of Ordeals, they should have specified.
Dungeon slash.
Then
mini
they're not
dungeon.
counting Cave of Shadows, so they're just picking and choosing. Because if you count Cave of Shadows,
Well,
it would be 11.
maybe they were counting Cave of Shadows.
That-
But then that
I
would be
think
11.
I think I double checked.
Why?
Hold
It's
on.
9. I know it's 9. I know. I want to dispute this one. Zelda Wiki.
So I
And
think
Twilight.
what I did to double check is I
There
went
are-
to Zelda Wiki and just counted the dungeons.
There are 9 full dungeons, main dungeons in Twilight Princess, and 2 mini dungeons,
Yeah.
according to Zelda Wiki.
So it's either 9 or 11, depending on how you want to look at it.
It's
Well,
9
it doesn't
or
say
11.
it doesn't say Twilight Princess HD.
Jesse!
I don't. I'm just trying to.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count Cave of Ordeals. It's optional. It's an optional dungeon. Completely optional. You don't need to. It's not like it's if you count that, then you would have to count Ice Cavern and like Ocarina of Time, right?
Exactly.
You don't.
But
count
it's
that
not
as-
a full. No, it's a mini dungeon. It's separate.
Yeah, but
It's
if
not a
someone
full-
just said how many dungeons are in Ocarina of Time, I would count the Ice Cavern
I would say
because it takes
9
me longer to
plus
do
some
that than it
mini-dungeons.
does the Deku Tree. Like the Deku Tree is more of a mini dungeon than.
Well, it's an introductory dungeon, right? So, but you've got like bottom of the
Yeah.
well and Ice Cavern. So
I was
it's
about to say the well.
it's
Those
9
wouldn't
plus-
count either.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't, right? You get things that are. It has dungeon-like qualities. You get a map. You get an item. There's no boss key in bottom of the well, but there's no boss key in any of Child Link's dungeons.
All right.
But
At the end of the game, we will give a vote to the chat to see
we have to vote.
to see if the Cave of Shadows or Ordeals, whatever, is counted as a dungeon. It'll be up to
I
them.
feel
And if it's not, then
question-
we will go simply based off of how many questions you got right.
the question should have specified if it were counting
Yeah.
mini dungeons or not.
Okay,
That's
Yeah.
what I'm. That's
That'll
what I'm
be-
gonna say.
that's up to the judge to decide. However many of them there are in the chat.
Protest.
All right, next question.
Protest.
7 out of 10 from me. Oh my gosh, including DLC. How many shrines does Breath of the Wild have? 137, 120, 142, 129.
Shoot.
Including DLC.
No, I did that.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure I did that
I
right.
came up with this one. I'm a smart apple.
I'm pretty sure. It has to be that.
I think Daniel's just irritable because he's no longer top banana.
Oh no, I did
No.
answer wrong. Oh crap.
Well, now I'm questioning if I answered wrong because I clicked really
Now,
fast.
I Googled
Me
I'm
this.
doing
too.
math in my head.
I Googled this. It gave me a number. I went to Zelda Wiki. It gave me the same number. I knew there was already 120. And then I counted the
Right.
additional dungeons myself. So, and this is not counting
So there's
the sword shrine. This is not counting the sword shrine.
right. I didn't count that either.
No.
But thinking about it,
137.
I
okay.
knew I did it wrong. I knew I did
Because
it
I was
wrong.
thinking there's 120, then there's 3 in each for each divine beast, so then that's
Right.
12 plus the 4 on the Great Plateau. That's why I got the answer. That's quick math.
8
Quick
out of
maths.
10. From Dr. Lava, our friend who writes and works for Did You Know Gaming, says, what's the animal on Link's Wind Waker pajamas? Crab, lobster, loftwing, pig.
Finally,
It should be
something
a
I was
crawfish, but
confident
is there a
on.
difference between a crawfish and a lobster?
Yes. I don't know what it is, but there is.
It's a crawfish, not a lobster.
So the game and Aonuma both claim it to be this thing. Whatever the answer is.
I'm just saying, when you talk to Medley in hero mode,
What does Medley
wearing-
know?
or second quest, she says, "Oh, you are like they described, wearing
What
blue."
is she? She's
crawfish.
a bird person.
I
What does she know?
She knows.
Probably eats them.
She probably eats them. Yeah.
She has feathers Like her whole race has feathers, which they need to fly, but they live beside a volcano where their feathers could be burnt off.
On the other side of the argument, in Breath of the Wild, it's called the Lobster Island shirt.
Finally, something.
Yes, that is what 𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐼𝐴 referred to it as, the island lobster shirt. Dr.
That's
Lava
true.
also put in a fun fact. He said he was actually writing a video for Did You Know Gaming about Zelda whenever I was talking to him about this. And he put in a bonus fact for everyone that Nintendo had to make 𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐼𝐴 an actual lobster shirt because he loved it so much and wanted to wear it, but none existed.
Heck yeah.
So they had to...
Now where's mine?
And then in Breath of
the
reason the Breath of the Wild shirt or tunic, this thing here, the reason it resembles, like it's blue with the white outline thing on it, is again because he loved the design of the Wind Waker thing so much that they based Breath of the Wild's shirt off of it. So.
There was a stronger resemblance in the 2014 trailer, but then they redesigned it a little bit before the game released.
All
So
right. Are we on?
Probably my favorite thing about Breath of the Wild. I'll have to answer later.
From me again. In total, how many C items are required to complete the Big Goron sword trading sequence? 10, 12, 9, 11.
No idea.
How many C items are required? This goes from the wacky potion the witch gives you, the broken sword, the saw, everything. The frog eye,
chicken, the egg,
the
hero,
certificate of authenticity or whatever it is that Big Goron gives you.
Same check.
And I got this answer by going to Zelda Wiki and counting each of the items.
Zelda Wiki is pretty reliable usually. I'm actually not sure.
Don't say that. That started a war a long time ago.
I clicked this and then I actually counted in my head, so we'll see.
Well, you went back up to first place, so if you get knocked out of first place, it's all your fault.
Oh no!
I don't even remember what the answer is.
I think it's 9.
11.
No, everything else.
Dang it.
It's 11. Oh my gosh! It just seemed like my gut instinct was like that seems too high.
Right.
Like these all seem too high.
Oh, you're still in first though.
11. That's so many. So wait, what is there? There's like the egg, it becomes Kojiro, and then you get the saw, and then you get the mushroom, it becomes the weird potion, and then you get
the frog eye.
I put the saw in the wrong spot. Then you get the saw. Then you get the broken sword. Where does the frog eye and everything come in here? There is the frog, and then the
eye drops.
The eye drops, and then the claim check. Yeah, so yeah, there would be 11. Yeah, you're right. Ah!
See, I was really worried I would get those wrong. So I'm glad I counted.
Man, I'm doing
Final question. 10 out of 10. From me, again, what are the odds? In Twilight Princess, how many pieces of the fused shadow are there? How many pieces of the fused shadow are there?
That Big Goron sword side quest.
And I went over the correct spelling of there because I did not know if I got it correct. 4 was the answer.
So
I could have sworn I had that
4,
one.
yeah, it was. We did a question at least similar to
3 in the dungeons, and then Midna has the first, technically.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's what I was forgetting.
Yeah.
What I was saying earlier, the reason I really liked Breath of the Wild was because I don't like wearing green.
6 out of 10.
So Breath of the Wild gave me an excuse to wear
Troba.
blue.
Joseph.
First place, though.
And then first goes to...
Man.
Captain Bergerson, the cheater.
I'm still the trivia champion. Jesse, so I was looking through my notebook. We did this almost exact same question on a previous Triforce trivia.
Oh, the ones from like a year ago?
Like a year ago. And during that one, I got it wrong as well because I forgot one thing. And I'm trying to think which one did I forget. Because I wrote here, egg, Kojiro, mushroom, potion, saw, broken blade, prescription, frog eye drops, claim check, Big Goron sword.
So
what was I missing? Because I remember there was this whole thing. We had this whole thing about it. How I was wrong.
So on Amanda from Zelda Universe's question, the frog, only 8% got it correct. So it's showing it says there's 7 difficult questions, and I don't know if I would count them as difficult. Like maybe a few.
They must be difficult because people got them wrong. So.
In total, how many sea items are required to complete the Big Goron Sword? 12% got correct. How many dungeons are in Twilight Princess? 12. Okay, that one doesn't count. We'll say that one doesn't count.
That's because it's 9.
12% got it. Andremoy's, the Gerudo Town question, 25% got correct.
That was a good one. That was a hard question.
Including DLC, how many shrines? 29% got it correct, which I don't know how they did. Twilight Princess, how many fused shadows? 33% got it correct. And then Stealth's question, who we've had on the podcast a few times.
Yeah.
He was on one of the interviews we did with one of the voice actors from Breath of the Wild. He owes me a cupcake for that. What system had the first officially localized Fire Emblem? 33%. But I want to know how many of you just guessed.
The frog question I totally just guessed.
I guessed for most of these because I didn't want to waste time.
Ooh, that's the thing. The time limit really makes you like have to just go with your gut instead of thinking it, you know?
But a lot of these required math.
But there are.
So I'm like, I don't have time to do this and go this person, this person, this one.
The answer's 9, Jesse. 9 dungeons.
I agree. I got that one wrong, but it is 9.
It's gotta be.
I wouldn't count those other 2.
You count Hyrule Castle. It's like the last dungeon before the final boss. And Cave of Ordeals is a mini dungeon.
All right, so for next week, we will have this again next week since there's not really that much Zelda news coming out. It's a way to have some fun on the podcast. And it helps us interact with all of you. So for Patreon supporters, you obviously get to submit a question or a topic for us to discuss on the podcast or the mailbag. But if you are a Patreon supporter on the Game Over Jesse Patreon or the Geek Apprentice or Captain Bergerson's, you can still send me a message. Obviously, don't send the question to Daniel or Geek or anyone. No. And tell them to send it to me. Send it to me, and then I'll put it on the list, and then we'll add it on there. So, yeah. I think
it was fun. This was a fun one, though. There was some hard question. That Gerudo Town one really got my brain fried.
I am 100%. Yeah, some of the Patreon supporters sent 2 or 3 questions, so I decided to try to make it fair for everyone to have at least one question. Saving some of the other questions for that. #9 dungeons. All right, so Zelda mailbag time, right? If you have a question that you want to have answered, this is your time to ask that question, I guess. Do you, Daniel, see any questions to start for the mailbag? I totally forgot to mention the mailbag questions or the podcast on the Discord. But I think is from DCastCord64, I think. Zelda mailbag, do you believe Nintendo Grezzo are aware of the fans' negative reception towards the gameplay changes made to Majora's Mask 3D? Would they fix or reverse these changes if they were to port Majora's Mask 3D to the Switch?
I don't think they would fix. I would think they would stick to the 3DS stuff, but then I would cry about it. I'd be very upset.
Frankly, I wouldn't play it.
So since in their mind they made all of the changes to make the game easier, the perfect solution to this is since Ocarina of Time had like 2 different versions of the complete final game, the normal and then Master Quest, which had changes to the dungeons and Skulltulas and stuff. If something somewhat similar happened with Majora's Mask 3D, to where the 3D version was the normal and then the non-changes version, like, don't have one look like the 3D character models and stuff and then one look like the 64 character models. Like, have it both look the same and great. But if like the Master Quest for Majora's Mask ended up being like the old version that was slightly harder to do some of the quests because you couldn't like warp to that exact moment, or what, I don't even know what the Bomber's Notebook does in the new one. It's been so long since I played it. But like, apparently they said they made all the changes to make it easier. So by that logic, the non-easy version would almost be a Master Quest of sorts.
But a thought.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at Skyward Sword HD, it's fresh on my mind.
I am looking at it.
A lot of the design choices... Yes, good, look at it. A lot of the design choices made when developing Skyward Sword were based around this idea of making it easier, making it more accessible for new players, etc., right?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of went back on some of that stuff for the 3D, or not the 3D, sorry, the HD version. They like removed the Sheikah Stone entirely. It's just like not in the game. It's not even optional, it's just not in the game, which is for the better. And things like that, like certain mandatory things during the tutorial stuff was, made optional, stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe they could kind of like rethink it. Be like, oh well, maybe that was too far in one direction. But yeah, I think just having like an N64 mode would be the perfect compromise, like you said. But that doesn't mean I think they'll do it.
Yeah, if they have both versions.
Honestly, like a middle ground would be best. Like there are things that are better in 3DS version, like when you play the Song of Double Time.
Daniel from last week would smack you.
No. I'm just saying there are some things that are good, like the Song of Double Time being changed. But most of the changes are pretty bad. So if you could just keep the good changes. It's like the same thing with Ocarina of Time 3D, right? Keep like the things like the iron boots being equipable items, and things like that. But then many of the Ocarina of Time doesn't have anywhere near as many changes as Majora's Mask, but still, like I think I love the original version, but I'm not gonna put it up on a pedestal so high to say that there's no flaws with it whatsoever, right? Especially inventory management is much easier. 3DS version, and the N64 version, like especially when you're going up Stone Tower, that portion of the game like pushes the N64 to its limits. I swear, especially it pushes the inventory management of the N64. Like you have to go through so many of your items and use so many of your masks and play the same song over and over again so many times, and it's just you spend so much time pausing and swapping items and stuff like that. And so it's like there are parts of it where it just really pushed the N64 to its limits, and it could be fixed by implementing things like the inventory management that was in Wind Waker HD. But that doesn't mean I want everything thrown out the window. And so, anyways, that's all I have. If you allow me to talk anymore, I won't stop. So we're gonna move on.
Okay, so Rune Wolf in the Google Doc mailbag has a question specifically for you, Daniel. And then everyone in the chat, give us your questions to answer as well. We'll each do 2 questions each, I guess.
I have time for one question.
Oh, one
and then
question.
I really
Okay.
have to go to bed.
Okay.
It better be a good question.
All right.
Oh, am I doing mine first?
No, there's a question for Rune Wolf. From Rune Wolf for Daniel.
Well, he's got to go. Then why don't we do another one first? Because you said this one was for me specifically.
Oh, so okay, Geek, is there any question that you can pick out?
Okay. This is from Just Clark. Let me know if this is something that's been answered and I just missed that podcast. If you could replace any game that you're not a fan of with a sequel that doesn't have one, what 2 games would they be? I'm assuming they're referring to Zelda games. I know right away this sounds terrible because I should just love every Zelda game. I'd get rid of Triforce Heroes in a heartbeat. I've never even played it, y'all. It's just based on what I've seen. I don't like it. As far as which one I'd want to give a sequel to, that's a little more difficult because I don't know the endings of all the games. Part of me wants to say Twilight Princess just because a lot of the games that I think of wanting a sequel, I already have one. You know, Wind Waker has a sequel. Ocarina of Time has a sequel. You know, I don't see why Skyward Sword would need a sequel necessarily. Maybe Minish Cap, perhaps. Link's Awakening would be too weird to give a sequel to. Link Between Worlds is already a spiritual successor. So I'd say Twilight Princess or Minish Cap. But I don't remember exactly how Minish Cap ends.
Twilight Princess is my answer as well. I used to have the idea, or at least the hope. Yeah, what?
That's the game you would erase from history and replace.
No, that's the sequel.
That's the okay. What game? But you have to have to choose
which game would you get rid of?
Phantom Hourglass.
Ooh, I see how it is.
Yeah. So, or I could be like the people that don't really know anything about Zelda and say you could just get rid of one of the Oracle games because they're both the same.
Ooh, no.
So
you wouldn't be able to fully complete the other.
Yeah. No. So with Twilight Princess, the idea that I always wanted was, because Twilight Princess Link and Ocarina of Time Link, there's that family connection thing, and in Twilight Princess we get to see what Hyrule looks like 100 or 200 years after Ocarina of Time, and then like taking advantage of the GameCube and how much bigger Hyrule is and all the new stuff they could do. So if they did that, but did a Majora's Mask style sequel to where this Link went to Termina, and some of the people there are like, oh, you look like that kid that my grandparents told me helped save the carnival or something. And then you could see what Termina looks like with similar changes to that of Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess's Hyrule, to where it's Termina, but now it's expanded to take advantage of all the new graphical power and stuff the GameCube has. And it wouldn't be limited by 1 year of development. So you could actually get more than 4 dungeons.
What if you meet a character and they're like, not like, oh, you look like the kid who saved the carnival all those years ago. They're like, you look like the kid who helped reunite my great-great-grandparents.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to do that.
What if?
I knew it.
I'm just saying that side quest is unforgettable. So
it's a beloved one.
It is.
Yeah. We all want to see them
there could even
have
be
children.
Some people. It's like I don't know, like something like they spoke about you like you were in 2 places at once. Because in the game you technically have to be at 2 places at once. Yeah. That's just like the fan game I always wanted.
So Justin asked me the same question on my stream last week, and so I gave him sort of an answer. But at first I said Spirit Tracks, and I can't remember what game. I think I said the same thing.
Does need a sequel.
But then no, to erase it and like put like a Twilight Princess sequel or something.
That is factually wrong.
I said that only because I forgot Triforce Heroes existed.
How did you forget it?
So in a way, I had already erased it.
We were on call.
There you go.
We were on call for like 3 hours trying to get it to work. How could you forget?
That probably aided in it.
It's a
like I wanted to push
memory,
it out.
okay?
Yeah, exactly. But then I was thinking about it after that stream, and I was like, what if this is cheating? What if you erase Link's Awakening because you can keep Link's Awakening DX and the Switch remake?
Ooh.
What if you could do that? Or would that be cheating? Because if that's cheating, I'll just
Cheating
say
the system.
Heroes.
A little bit.
But if not, then no harm done. You still have the other versions of Link's Awakening.
True.
Wait, then what would you be adding a sequel to?
I still think Twilight Princess sequel. I think there's room to see where that Link went and what he did, or a Wind Waker sequel or I guess it would be after Phantom Hourglass. But I kind of want to see what happened, like, because there's this time gap between those games and then Spirit Tracks where they've founded this whole other kingdom and generations have gone by. You know, and now you've got these grandkids. But what happened between then? You know, I don't know. There's lots of spots, honestly, that you could do a game that's just the Hyrule Civil War.
That's true.
Before Ocarina of Time, but then you can't really have too great of an ending because it's a war. So I don't know. There's too many good things.
I think
good question.
If there was a third Hyrule Warriors game, I think that might be the direction they would go.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because that style of gameplay, there's only... Like, the first Hyrule Warriors kind of made sense because it was just throwing everything together. And then Age of Calamity kind of worked out well because that was a big war.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the only other big war they had was with before Ocarina of Time.
That's a good one.
Daniel, your final question? Yeah.
I have to leave first.
Yes.
Let's say goodbye.
Yes. Before you go, where can people find you and watch your stuff, Geek?
I am on the YouTube as The Geek Apprentice, also Instagram at The Geek Apprentice. That's usually just where I promote things, though. So yes, I have a YouTube channel right now. I am, as I play Skyward Sword, been as ranking dungeon themes based on them having the same things, like fire theme, water theme, things like that. So I'm in the middle of making those videos. Usually I talk about things other than Zelda as well, but that's pretty much it. And I stream, which is going to be limited now because I have an insane teaching schedule, which is why the stream was Thursday instead of Tuesday. So anyway, that's it for where you can find me. So
awesome.
Now I have to say goodbye because I have doctor's appointments and work tomorrow too. Yeah.
Have a grouse night, and thank you for joining and playing with us.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Daniel. Time to get serious. Answer that question.
Okay. Sure. Runewolf asked question for podcast with Cap Bergerson, the Banana King, designing dungeon series. What elements of past dungeons and designs would you like to see make a return? And what new features would you like to see in Breath of the Wild 2? The new features thing we've answered so many times. But past dungeon ideas is the thing is I love new things. That's the thing. Every time, like, I'm going through Skyward Sword's dungeons
not
right
all
now.
New things. Not
no,
Majora's
not,
Mask 3D new.
Well, the thing is, you have to find. I like new things when they're good. That's what I mean. I guess.
I like good things.
Like going through Skyward Sword's dungeons, I'm like, the game like blows me away, like left, right, and center with its dungeons. Honestly,
Skyward Sword.
It's like, yeah. It's like, okay.
Oh yeah,
you got
because the whole spider thing going to the shadow.
There's that ancient
like,
systems.
Where could they have even come up with that? That's just
there's probably a very likely and confirmed story that's based on.
No.
But then you have like things like the time shift stones, and then you have like, okay, a time shift stones, but now on a pirate ship. And then right now I'm in the throes of editing.
And then
my
there's
video
the
for
Donkey Kong minigame.
There is the
real carts.
The mine carts. And Skykeep is like the most unique dungeon, I swear.
Yeah, it was the 3D version of Link's Awakening's Dompe dungeon.
But the thing is with the Dampe's like dungeon designer thingy, the dungeon maker, it was just like taking rooms from other dungeons that existed, which Skykeep kind of does but kind of doesn't. But it's just like the whole rearranging the dungeon thing is incredibly unique. It's incredibly brilliant, and each of the rooms they seem to be themed after like just one room per like of each of the previous dungeons, but they actually pull elements from like and mix and match elements from lots of the other dungeons. And the dungeon makes great use of Link's whole inventory. Like you have to use almost all your items in that dungeon, with the exception of you don't have to use your net or your slingshot. You don't have to, but you can. There are places you can use them, but you don't have to. That's it. Otherwise, you have to use all of Link's items. It's a brilliant dungeon. So anyways, I love just being surprised and blown away. I think if they were just like, okay, we're going to take the Fire Temple and now just put it in Breath of the Wild. Like, that's okay. I've done that before. I've done it so many times before. I don't need to see this again. And I love variety. I think a variety of dungeons is great. So I do want that, but I don't want just like it to be the exact same as what we've seen before. I just want new stuff. So that's, I guess what I've learned doing this dungeon design series is that if you just try too much, I think, to be the same, sometimes you fall a little short. It's when these dungeons really reach out and just do something completely brazen and bold and new that they're at their best. So that's what I want. Something old and fresh.
Something super duper fresh that not a lot of people think about is Ocarina of Time was Nintendo's first 3D Zelda game, and there's a dungeon in it that, like, all the dungeons before it are mainly 3D based dungeons because it's a 3D Zelda game. But then when you're in the Fire Temple, some of the rooms make you play it as if it's a top-down 2D Zelda dungeon.
Well, it's only one room that does that.
Well, you have to like go in the room a bunch of times though.
If you do it right, you only have to go in it like twice.
I have to go in that room a bunch of times though.
But okay, that's fair. But no, I totally know what you mean. Ocarina of Time's dungeons are amazing though, because even the and this is almost like spoilers for my video that's coming out tomorrow.
Forest Temple.
But
the one that when the floor drops on you or the ceiling.
Beautiful dungeon. I love the Forest Temple. This is the bit I talk about this a little bit in my coming out tomorrow. Shameless plug, but with Ocarina of Time's dungeons,
what do you have coming tomorrow?
It's a video. It's a dungeon design video.
Oh, cool. Is that like a series that you do on your channel?
It is. It sure is. You know it is. On Ocarina of Time's first 6 dungeons, they repeat the same themes. You have a forest-themed dungeon with the Deku Tree, then a fire-themed dungeon, then a water-themed dungeon. Then you go back into another forest-themed dungeon, then another fire-themed dungeon, then another water dungeon. But even when repeating,
I think what that was is, in my head canon, Miyamoto or whoever at Nintendo, whenever it was just adult Link, no child Link,
right?
They clearly wanted it to go forest dungeon, fire dungeon, water dungeon, and then when they added child Link in, they were like, "Well, what kind of dungeons are we going to start out with now?" And Miyamoto just like stood his ground and was like, "The same."
The same. But even still, no one gets those dungeons mixed up. No one is like getting inside Jabba Jabba's belly in the water temple mixed up.
No, because
so even though they're technically it's disgusting, it's the grossest dungeon. But it's even though they're repeating the same theme, technically they're both water themed dungeons,
and then
they make them distinct from each other.
The
in
child
like
part
a
of
lot.
Beneath the Well, and then Spirit Temple as well.
That one's a little looser because you really could get those mixed up with some of the rooms, but like even I would say like Dodongo's Cavern and the Fire Temple are really distinct because you have one, and that's for the first 3 Child Link dungeons. There are very natural environments. You have a tree, a cave, and a fish, and then you transition to Adult Link, and everything is these man-made structures with these temples, right? So it's really interesting to see the sort of contrast, the way they made these dungeons stand apart from each other, even though they're technically they're just repeats of the same themes.
So I just thought it is uneven. Like in my head, I always thought like there was the forest, fire, water, shadow, spirit for the child segments and then adult segments, but adult segment has one. Yes.
Aha.
There is no ice maybe there would have been in like the disc add-on or something, but
maybe 𝐓𝐷 Zelda would have had. Well, there's Snowhead in Majora's Mask to make up for it.
Yeah.
So,
and
but
that dungeon was like the only one out of the Majora's Mask dungeons that was more like Ocarina of Time dungeons, where there's the center platform. Like there isn't the water temple and maybe it's just the water temple. I don't know. But those dungeons where it's like everything's wrapped around like the central room or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I find most dungeons have kind of just like either a linear straight path structure or a central room that everything weaves in and out of. Most dungeons fall into one of those two sort of structures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the water temple for sure. Central room, everything just shoots off from there, right? Forest temple as well. Same thing. Central, you got your big central room. Everything just goes in and out of that one room. Whereas the fire temple, no, the fire temple is just a big loop, technically.
Yeah.
You go through
like
room after room of talent,
which is interesting.
And then you just drop down, and then you're back where you started. So it's Earth Temple in Wind Waker. There's not really a central room. It's again, you go through a series of challenges that just takes you onward and onward and deeper and deeper, deeper. Same with Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time. Just onward, onward, onward. So yeah, it's kind of neat to see like them play around with these two themes. Some dungeons kind of mix and match those two sort of structures a little bit or play around, and some like don't really fit either. But just generally speaking, most of the dungeons in 3D Zelda, you can just fit into one of those two categories. So why everyone's asking why I'm green, Jesse? And someone named White Boy just subscribed. But not Green Boy. Anyways, we could probably move on from this question unless you have anything to add here. I think I've rambled about dungeons long enough. I love dungeons. I love them. I love them. Love them. Jesse.
Yeah, I'm fixing the green issue.
The green issue? Issue? You say?
Yeah. Now I am the green boy.
Oh, I see.
We must be like similar shades of color.
We must be.
Because Geek and Tubes are just vampires.
They can't be green.
Like my face is greener than my green hat. How weird is that?
Someone is saying Switch eShop never had. There is not really. No, they never had Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks on Switch eShop. That's just not true.
Maybe they're thinking of Wii U eShop.
Wii U has them currently.
Or 3DS eShop. Did 3DS
but
have
no,
them?
The Switch eShop does not have any like virtual console.
Oh, they put question marks. So maybe they were just asking.
Well, that's because someone else said it.
Oh, okay. One more question from the chat we can take before we leave. No, maybe that's not appropriate.
Okay.
It was a Mulaney thing.
A what?
A Mulaney thing.
A John Mulaney? The comedian?
He was on the Tonight Show the other day. It was really good.
All right.
Anyone have a question? Do I see any questions? While we're looking for one, Daniel, well, everyone in the chat, you can, if you direct message me, you can submit questions for next week's Triforce trivia thing. But Daniel, while we're waiting on a question to come up, what can people find on your channel if they were to be considerate enough to go and just watch every single one of your videos? What could they expect?
They'd find a lot of videos, to be honest. Well, they probably have guessed already because I've been talking about it so much, but I do a lot of videos about Zelda dungeons. Not Zelda Dungeon, the website, but dungeon design in Zelda is kind of my
Although
runnings.
we have done videos About Zelda Dungeons website when we had the owner on.
That's also true.
Yeah.
But that's not the only thing I do. That's probably just like the main thing I do. But I also have a couple other, like the theory video here and there, that kind of thing. Easter eggs in Wind Waker was one I did recently.
And you have multiple live streams every week.
I do. I stream twice a week, Wednesday mornings and Saturday nights. So I'm also starting a new series soon, Jesse. Did you know that?
I did. You told me last night before you thought about it.
But I announced this on Monday. I'm going to be doing a new series called Character Studies.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
And it's going to be just taking a deep dive into the sort of characters, their motivations, their wants, needs, desires, their character arcs, things like that. So it's going to be kind of like one character per video sort of thing. So
you would be definitely, speaking of character development, you would be proud of me. You would be super duper proud of me. You know how I'm always saying that Rupin? What's his name?
Perler or something
yeah,
like that.
I'm always saying he's the Twilight Princess Tingle. In today's video for the bonus, I corrected what I would normally say and said he is a version of what Tingle could be.
I am proud of you for that. I noticed that when I was watching the video, and I was
like, Daniel would be proud. So happy. Maybe he'll give me 2 shoes to eat tonight instead of just 1.
No, just 1.5 shoes.
Did you know the Tingle Midna thing though? They used Tingle's not Tingle. They used Tetra's character model to ride on Wolf Link.
Yeah, no, I did not know that. So that was really cool.
Which I guess makes sense because they are about the same size. But I guess so. It would be really weird seeing like Toon Tetra riding around on realistic Wolf Boy. Okay, is there a question? Yeah, I just went back a few frames and Daniel's green. Yeah, he does that.
That's all me.
He's just green.
That's all
sometimes.
me doing that.
he does that. He's a silly man.
There is a question by George.
Yeah.
Or is it 48? Question. If you could visit Hyrule from any of the main games, which version would you like to visit /
Wait, Hyrule from any of the games?
Yeah.
I tell you, it is not...
I think.
Wait, during the events of the game? Or...
Even then, yeah.
So, like
if you go to Breath of the Wild Hyrule, most of it's in ruins, so you can... Unless you're going to live in Lorland Village, then definitely that.
But if you went to Age of Calamity's Hyrule, then, like, if you didn't like your neighbor, you could just destroy his house and then blame it on the Guardians.
The Guardian did it!
Or, I was going to say Ocarina of Time's adult timeline would not be the place you would want to be, because it's like...
Child timeline would be fine.
The only village where people... Yeah, the only village that's livable just randomly catches on fire. So it's like...
That was one time!
And there's a ghost demon drum player that just apparently was imprisoned below the well for seemingly no good reason, because all signs point to the Hyrule family being the bad guys.
Well, as far as we know. We don't know what they did, but...
Yeah.
It's all messed up.
And then it's
Twilight Princess.
Are you thirsty? Because all of the water supply is frozen.
Don't drink from the well. Shoot. Okay, so there's this Instagram account I follow. This is only somewhat related. You just reminded me of it.
Yeah, this is a PG podcast, Daniel.
It's not that kind of account, but it's called Linked Universes AU, and it's just someone basically like they're doing like a almost like a graphic novel, but all the main characters, it's like an ensemble cast, and they're sort of their own reimaginings of all the different Link, sort of if they were all together living sort of as like one group traveling together.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fan fictiony, but I kind of love it. It's like got kind of a soft spot for it, but there's one joke in one comic strip they did where like they were like bringing water out of a well to drink, and then it was like Ocarina of Time Link was like, I don't drink well water. and I'm like, if you think about it, the two wells that guy has ever seen in his life both had zombies living at the bottom of them. Like,
True.
Like, that's it. I wouldn't drink well water either. So there's some food for that. Anyways, it's just a very funny little like
So-
slide joke that they just like snuck in there.
Here's a question. So water from Zora's River is what? It's like the main water source for all of Hyrule. And it's supposed to be like pure, clear, perfect water. So does that mean the Zoras...
I know where you're going.
Yeah, so like are the Zoras just always pristine, clean? Because they're like... they're the fish living in the water, but everyone else drinks it. So if it's clean, then the Zoras just must not be able to be dirty.
They just... I don't have an answer for this. I knew this is where you're going with this, though. Like, sleep and... Oh, no.
And how did King Zora manage to get on top of that little throne seat in front of the gate to 𝐓𝐷𝐷𝐵?
It took him a long time.
Like, did he sit there and then get larger?
They built the domain around him. He sat on a rock one day, and they just built the whole thing around.
Aside from Ganondorf, do all the kings in Zelda games have to be like out of shape? I guess is a polite way. Because like King Dorphin,
I would say
like all the kings.
Well, Dorphan, it was strong enough to like literally like yeet a guardian off a cliff. Like he threw a guardian. Man's strong. King Rome.
Why do they need divine beasts? They got.
I think he's like a little. King Rome's got a bit of a tummy, but he's not like out of shape. I would say the man throws in the claymore around like it's no big deal. So, yeah. I don't know. I think not hashtag not all kings. You know, of course, King Daphnis is a boat, so that's about as out of shape as you can get.
Yeah, and so the thing with the boat dude, his last name is Hyrule.
King Daphnis.
Yeah.
Anson.
So
Hyrule.
Does like the game never comes out and tells you, hey, Daphnis is like the grandfather to Tetra, but you can make the connection because it's king and she's the princess.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not the daughter of, but maybe the granddaughter or great granddaughter. So does that mean Zelda in the previous games, like her name would be Zelda Hyrule?
Yeah.
And then okay.
Yeah, that's just their lot, because even King Rome also says his last name is Hyrule. He introduced him. I was King Rome, boss for Romus Hyrule.
Oh,
it's such a
yes.
middle name.
It's like, all right, settle down.
It's like, whoa, okay. The full introduction, middle name and all. Can you imagine introducing people to your like title, name, first, middle, last name, like just introducing yourself? But I'm trying to think. I don't think King like the kings in like Minish Cap. I can't think of them ever saying like their names. There's two of them in Minish Cap. There's like the live one and the ghost one. I'm trying to remember what their names were. One was Daltus. I can't remember what the other one's name was. It's escaping me. I did know this though. I know I knew it. I've forgotten.
Link's full name is canonically Link. So one thing that I think is going to possibly happen is you get to know more about Links. Yeah, okay. I can say this without seeming stupid. I think Breath of the Wild...
Thank you, Sir Troba.
Breath of the
It
Wild
was good
2
stuff.
will have some sort of focus on Link's family, like mom, dad, sister, which from the Japanese version of Creating a Champion, which Masterworks has the artwork for. Because I think
I'd like to.
like Breath of the Wild had you remembering the story of like Link's story right before everything happened.
Right.
Hyrule Warriors gives you more of Zelda's story, but also Zelda's story when she was younger. And I think Breath of the Wild 2 will do the same, where it's Link's story. Like, you get more of his backstory like you did in Breath of the Wild 1, but you also get backstory from possibly his childhood. And then, how awesome would it be to play as child Breath of the Wild anime Link? Like, I know that's reaching and has nothing factual to back it up, but I'm just saying it would be awesome. After making that Twilight Princess video and seeing Twilight Princess Link with like 6 different ages, I'm just saying.
We know that even as a child, like 4 years old, I think, he could beat most of the soldiers in Hyrule Castle in a sword fight. So, playable young Link would be cool. Young Breath of the Wild Link, that is.
Especially,
yep.
So a really cool way they could do it is if Link had to, like, you played so you had to go somewhere to do something, whatever, the quest objective, but you don't know how to get to the place that you're trying to get to. And then you come across a memory and you play through that memory, but everything looks a little bit different than it is now. Kind of like how Ocarina of Time sort of makes things look different, or like the villages are actually there. So like maybe one of the villages, like there was a tunnel underneath like the cellar of a house or something that you could go into as a kid, and then that would lead the path to get into this cave or dungeon or whatever it is. And it was just a place that like young Link would go to explore or whatever. And then you don't know how to get there as an adult because you can't find the way. But after you remember, then you can go to that same building, which now would be destroyed, obviously. And because we 100% know Breath of the Wild 2 is going to have shovels, like that's just Aonuma called me earlier and was like, yeah, Breath of the Wild 2, shovels. You got it.
Shovel.
And then he's like, you can even upgrade them to the oven mitts from Skyward Sword. The oven mitts, because they're on the hot boys that dig the tunnels. What are their names?
That's right.
The hot boys.
The Mogmas.
Hot boys. So the oven mitts that the Mogmas give you, you use them to dig the hole, and
that's right.
Then that leads you to the path that you had just played as a kid. So I think that would be really, 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 really cool. But we have a super chat from Envy. Do you want to take that?
Yeah, Envy $1.99. Y'all think the Sheikah Tech / Cyberpunk will return? I don't think they're gonna like let it all go to waste. I think there'll be some stuff, but not like full Cyberpunk. Gonna have prosthetics and so. Well, I think we're having that new arm thing, but that's it.
We kind of are having prosthetics.
We kind of are, but like just that new arm thing. I don't think that's Sheikah related though, right? But I still think there's gonna be some Sheikah. I feel like they put too much time and effort into making Sheikah stuff to just throw it out the window.
I'm gonna go with your first answer from like a year or two ago. That Zelda will be using the Sheikah tech, and then Link will be using his new oven mitts.
His oven mitts.
Because he's doing all that cooking, you know. He's protection.
Yeah,
gotta be careful.
So here's the question: the magma mitts. Why can't you use those to fight? Have you seen them?
Oh yeah, the claws. Yeah.
They got huge claws, man.
Yeah, if you can dig into the ground and like dig up ore and stuff, you could just like do you know how much Dompe would love you?
he would love you. He would want some for himself. But think about this, like when you fight the Moldorms Skyward Sword, you have to use the magma mitts to like slap their butts with it, and then they die, right? You know? When you're in like the underground tunnel sections.
What game are you playing?
Skyward Sword. It's Skyward Sword when you're digging underground in like the tunnel sections.
The only butts
right?
I know you smack is the monkey in Twilight Princess.
You don't smack his butt. He smacks his own butt at you.
Well, you hit his butt with the boomerang.
Oh, you're right. No. You get the boomerang after you hit his butt with your sword. You slap. Link just doesn't. He doesn't slash the monkey butt with his sword though. He slaps the butt with the flat end of the sword. Just on the. Anyways, this is monkey
true.
Butt.
Okay, is there? So to end this, we have a teeny tiny little mini theory to end this. Okay, thank you, Envy, for your $1.99. I'm assuming that's like $1 million he just donated. So thank you for that. We will spend all of it on the finest cheeses for our nachos. I, as a topic, wanted you to come up with something interesting. So on the spot, you were like, okay, Skyward Sword has malice. Breath of the Wild has malice. They both have eyeballs. What's going on there? There's a virus or something. No, not a virus.
What?
The well.
The
well. With the parasite.
What?
You were talking about it in the chat with the other people. The parasite on the flying whale.
Oh! I think I know what you're talking about. The message I sent, it was to you and Rick, right?
Yeah.
Here, okay.
Unless you don't want to talk
about it. Because I just noticed it.
In which case, everyone just forget what you just heard.
Okay, here's what I said in the message. It had nothing to do with the well. That's why I got confused.
I thought the parasite was on the
Here's what I wrote. Yesterday I was recording some Skyward Sword footage. I had a thought. Levias is possessed by Bilokite, which causes him to act aggressively. When you talk to Professor Orwell, it's actually Professor Allen, though. I wrote the wrong name there. He warns us about it. He says that Levias's eyes were, quote,
Nintendo
filled
better
with
change
malice.
his name to Orwell because Daniel is never wrong.
Better change it. So he says his eyes were, quote unquote, filled with malice. And when you see Levias during that battle, his eyes are that same dark pink, purpley color, like the color of literal malice. So I wonder if in some way Bilokite has a connection to the malice eyes and the mouths that we see in Breath of the Wild. That was my thing. It was just like totally a off the cuff, sort of thought there.
But the malice in the Ancient Cistern does turn the bokoblins.
Yes. The cursed bokoblins.
Yes.
You said whale.
Yeah, it's a flying whale.
I thought you said well, like because we were talking about the bottom of the well earlier.
Yeah.
Till someone in the chat was like, "He's saying whale." I'm an idiot.
You have no idea earlier on that thing where it's like, how many shrines are there, or whatever the question I had was.
Yeah.
I looked up like all the different variations of how to spell there to make sure that I had the proper use.
Oh no.
Because I was getting really confused. But anyways, I think that's everything. So you, just to recap, what are some of the stuff people can find on your channel? When's the next time they can watch you doing your hot tub streams.
My
Breath of the Wednesdays.
They're actually cold tubs.
Cold tubs.
They're really cold. They're freezing cold.
Yeah.
But
Well, it is winter.
Tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. Pacific time. It used to be 9 that I would do my premieres, but 9:15 because I have to drop my son off at school and then get home first. So my next day, it is a thing as of now. Again, my new video drops tomorrow morning though. We're looking at the dungeon design of the Sanctuary in Skyward Sword.
The Fire Sanctuary.
Fire Sanctuary. And then Skykeep will come soon. Otherwise, you can join me on Saturday night for...
You cut out.
Where I will be... What?
You cut out after Saturday night. I
my Saturday night.
You were doing something with Jimmy Fallon?
Yes, that's right. No, that's when my cold tub stream is. That's when it is. It's icy cold. No, join me on Saturday night for another stream. I'm playing through some Metroid. So if anyone's all like, what the heck's a Metroid all about? Everyone keeps saying, buy Dread. What the heck is a Metroid anyway? I'll answer all your Metroid questions. Otherwise, Wednesdays are often Breath of the Wednesdays. I stream Breath of the Wild almost every Wednesday, although this upcoming Wednesday, I'm going to sneak in an extra Metroid stream. So just because I'm behind on that, yeah, that's everything you need to know.
Yes, everything is Capt Bergerson. Twitter, Instagram,
it is all.
YouTube, Twitch. There are links in the description, but this is the important question that I've never asked you. Breath of the Wild has VR. Mm-hmm. You have Breath of the Wild. You have the cardboard. Have you ever played? Yeah, you do. You got the Labo.
The VR one.
You don't have the Labo thing?
I have the variety kit and the robot kit, but not the VR kit.
So like basically everything except the VR kit.
I think there's one other one that I don't have as well. But yeah, I don't have the VR kit, so I've never tried it. But I've heard it's really fun actually.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering how it would be. I
don't know. I'm sorry.
I seen a mod where they used like a VR headset for a computer and then put Breath of the Wild in first person, like that mod, and then did the VR mode. That way it's as if you're looking through Link's eyes and you're using an actual VR headset instead of the thing. And that seems like it would be, that seems like it'd be cool. Maybe a bit scary coming across all the Lionels. But anyways, everything at Captain Bergerson at Game Over Jesse. Thank you for hanging out with us during this time. Clearly, Daniel and I need to work stuff out because we ran away tubes before we even began, and then in the middle of it, Geek ran away as well. So we will figure something out on how to keep people on the podcast.
Yeah. We just drive everyone away with our incessant talking and trivia games.
No, I think that person asked the Majora's Mask question specifically to get you to talk more about Majora's Mask. But good.
If people really want me to, they can find videos on my channel.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Thank you for watching. Send us trivia. Send me trivia questions, not Daniel. He cheats.
Hey.